Okay, here we are in the candidates' corner with one Michael Sussman,
Good day,
our
David.
candidate. Good day, sir. And you are the people's candidate. There's no doubt about it, right? It's your Democrats and Good Neighbor Party on both of those lines, right?
Well, I'm on the Working Families
Oh, you're the
Party. That's really the Good Neighbors Party.
Oh.
It's a different name for it.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever the name is, it works for me.
Thank you.
I'm just happy to have it that way. So, what's been going on now? You have such an aggressive agenda for dealing with these issues. 30 issues in 30 days. It's
And more come up every day.
and they keep coming up, right?
What's concerned me this week particularly is our very flawed immigration policy and how it's affecting our county. It's very easy to say, lock them all up, put them in El Salvador in some jail or some prison where the conditions are absolutely inhumane. We're hearing reports of that now from the Venezuelans who are there. It's really quite sickening that our country is participating in something like that. But here's the real issue in Orange County. We have an economy that to some extent is a service economy. That means that people go to restaurants, people eat out, people work on farms,
Right.
people work to some extent in factories, and many of those workers are quote unquote illegal. That's how we've built our economy, for better or worse. Employers take advantage of it. They talk to me and they tell me under the table, they take advantage of it. So now we have ICE swooping in. And here's the point. If David Wilson committed a serious crime, whether David Wilson was an immigrant, an illegal immigrant, a citizen of the United States, and he was on the lam, somebody who knows about that should call the authorities and say, hey, this fellow committed a serious crime or has been convicted of a crime or whatever, and he should be apprehended. That's our system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's due process, sure, but you should be apprehended and given your rights and done with what the system does with you. Okay? That's very different from people being racially stereotyped in cars or in buses or wherever they may be in this county and abused and picked up because of the way they look and the presumption that they're from some foreign country. We have tens of thousands of Latino people in this county who are totally legal. We're not back in the 1940s with Japan and we're picking up every Japanese person and we're interning them. But we have a lot of false negatives. And that's what's happened this week. And that's why I'm bringing it out. We have ICE running from a facility in New Windsor, 16 Governor in New Windsor, where the FBI is as well. And they're running around the county and they're picking people up without warrants.
Indiscriminately.
Without warrants. Now, to me, you go to a court, and that's the check we have. And you say, I have probable cause to arrest or apprehend Joe Green or Jose Garcia or whatever the person's name is. But this is the cause I've got. Mm-hmm. And you put it on a piece of paper, and you hopefully are not defrauding the court. You're being honest, because if you are, you're committing a crime. It's another story. And then the court reviews that and says, okay, you can go pick up Joe Green or Jose Garcia or whatever the person's name is. That's not what we have right now. We have the Wild West with masked individuals going around our community. Nobody knows who the heck they are, and you can't find out who they are, doing whatever they want to do. This is patently dangerous. Now, here's the problem. Orange County, 25 years ago, built a jail. Okay? That's way before bail reform.
Mm-hmm.
But even at its peak, we might have had 300 or 400 people in our county who at any given time belonged in that jail. Mm-hmm. But the jail has a capacity of 800.
Mm-hmm.
It was built for precisely this moment, to be a profit center for the county.
Wow.
And when you go back, I was part of those debates 25 years ago opposing a jail of this magnitude because one could see what was coming. Immigration was hot even then. It's hot and cold in our society. And you could see that what was happening was Orange County was building a jail to profit from immigration and immigration enforcement. Now, look, we have a pretty affluent county. We don't need to have a profit-making facility in Goshen that's exploiting people, many of whom are not illegal, and they're caught up in this craziness. Let me just say one other thing about immigration. Many countries, tragically, have conditions which are close to barbaric, whether economically, socially, politically. Some of it, frankly, through our doing
Mm-hmm.
and our corporations doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reality of American history. Okay? These countries are immiserated, and their people are without work, educated people without opportunity, sometimes severely oppressed, especially women. They make their way here, and they are what we call asylum seekers. Asylum has a rich history, statutorily protected history. If you are fleeing oppression, threats to your life, threats to your family, threats against you because of your religious beliefs, you have a right to make that case and come into the United States. Mm-hmm. That's fundamental. It's statutory. Donald Trump doesn't like it. He wants to keep asylum seekers in Mexico. He wants to keep them in prisons. He wants to do this and that. None of that's appropriate in my view. They should have an opportunity to state their case. Many of them have valid cases because of the conditions I mentioned. Is it unfortunate? Yes, but we can afford it. And it's an instance of our morality and our civilization that we have, up till recently, afforded it without great incident. Mm-hmm. Now, look, in every population, I don't care what the population, you're going to have certain individuals, a small, very small fraction of individuals who are miscreants, who are going to engage in criminality. We know that already. It's nothing new, whoever it is. Mm-hmm. You know, we have rich lawyer in South Carolina, kills his wife, right? I mean, it could be anybody, it could be anything. Mm-hmm. We don't put all South Carolina lawyers in one bucket and say you're all going to be incarcerated.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should, but we don't. So, yes, have some, quote, illegal immigrants committed crimes? Of course they have, and they should be punished. There's nobody asking for their absolution, not me.
No.
But that's very different from what we're doing. Absolutely. So it's easy for people, particularly Democrats, to run away from this issue. But we can't run away from it morally.
No, you can't.
It's an absolutely crucial issue, and our county has to face the facts that we shouldn't be profiting from this, and we shouldn't be allowing a lot of masked individuals to run around here willy-nilly.
Have you heard any word at all from Newhouse about any of this?
Look,
I have not heard anything.
So. I think if our people would and are able to spend the time, and I'm the first to say, people have a lot of things to do every day. They do. You know, I had 7 children. My wife and I had a lot to do every day. Yeah, okay? You know, to focus on something outside of your own household, the problems of the economics of your household, the issues of addiction that many people are facing, mm-hmm. the issue of taking care of older parents, whatever it may be. There's a lot to distract our attention from anything beyond ourselves. And I appreciate that, and I'm not critical of it. But people who are trying to pay attention to what's going on in the broader community mm-hmm. will not find any evidence of any concern by the county executive, any statement by the county executive, about many, many issues. We have a game of hide and seek. I want to vault our veterans. Well, everyone honors our veterans. But when there are major cutbacks, as there have been at Castle Point, as are now being promised at other facilities for veterans, what's he doing? Nothing. Medicare and Medicaid, disability, children who have profound special needs and who need early intervention services. His leadership has been pathetic. So and this is another issue. Immigration. We can talk about Michael Sussman is for criminals. I'm not for criminals. I'm for following the law that's been established for protecting people who are asylum seekers, who have a right to establish their case, and should not be treated like animals while that process is going on.
Well, now you mentioned earlier, right, that this jail as a profit center for housing these quote unquote illegal immigrants or criminals or whatever he's calling them. I understand they had a $220 million surplus. Why would they need to take profit from that kind of operation in order to be able to provide the necessary funds to support whatever emergencies there may be in the community?
Well, it's a very good point. It's a very good question. And I've spoken a lot about this issue in my support for the county controller. because I want the people in the county to understand fully that we have almost $1 billion budget. We're running a $220 million recorded surplus. That means that's your money. It's all of our money collectively that's sitting somewhere and not being used. Now, you can say emergencies, but remember in July of 2023, we had a tremendous flood in Highland Falls and in Cornwall. Very serious flooding conditions. Someone lost their life. Many businesses and residences were actually flooded out. Businesses were destroyed. Not one penny of county money at a time we had about $190 million surplus was used to assist. The county had a website and said, we're giving you phone numbers to go for assistance.
Now, why didn't FEMA step in there? Is it because they took a look at the fact that the surplus was there and said you can take care of your own business?
FEMA, in my view, erred. But we know they erred, and the county should have aggressively gone after FEMA, which it did not. But knowing that FEMA was sitting on the sidelines and not helping many of these residences, whether it should have or not, it should have, but it wasn't. The critical issue, it wasn't. And we have a rainy day fund, but it's not usable in a monsoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what kind of a rainy day fund do you have that when you have a monsoon, you say, okay, I'll keep it hidden? Okay, this is irresponsible and inappropriate. Okay, and it already happened.
It's undefendable. Now, I mean, there's no way that you can find any defense for it.
But when you talk about, you're right, but when you talk about the profit center of the jail, our county jail, you also have to talk about the profit center of Valley View. This is very important. And again, people haven't had it brought to their attention, and I appreciate that.
A county facility.
Valley View is a county facility that's been a county facility for more than 120 years. It's a center for individuals who are both being rehabilitated from serious injury or illness, and also, of course, for senior citizens. We have currently a census, which is a state-approved, Department of Health-approved number of 360 people who can live in Valley View, in the senior residence at Valley View. Most recent data, we have 225 people. We have hundreds of people on the waiting list, and they're not using the facility. Their claim is they're not using the facility because they can't properly staff it. Well, here's the deal. You need to more aggressively staff the facility so we're using the infrastructure we have to meet the needs of our people. Number one. Number two, Medicare and Medicaid reimbursements come back for services rendered at the facility. The county is taking between $10 and $15 million a year from the reimbursements and putting them into the general fund to augment this general fund, the surplus we talked about earlier.
Wow.
Now, this is just outrageous behavior. And it's not new. It's been going on. Okay, so look, we saved Valley View from closure. I had to go to court to save Valley View from closure. That was 10 years, 12 years ago. We won the court case, and the place was not closed. But the Republican Party has always had a desire either to sell, privatize, or close the facility. It's always been their agenda. And they are doing it by, as I said a few moments ago, not maintaining the census and gradually denuding the facility of people, depopulating the facility. Okay. Now, there's another area of urgent need. We've talked about the jail, profit center that the jail is, the way that can encourage individuals to be taking advantage of. What about early intervention services? This is, again, something people don't necessarily know about. It's not a hot and sexy issue. What is it? Under state and federal law, but particularly here state law, the county, as a unit of government, has the responsibility for early childhood education of children between 18 months and 4 years of age, not school districts, the county. And it has to provide them services, those who have special needs. It has to try to address those needs early. And the reason for that is because it's understood that when you address those needs early, you can have a positive effect on those children's future. Sure, that's why Congress and the state have done that. What are we doing? We have waiting lists of people, children, it's unconscionable, who have serious unmet needs. And we have a county that usually takes between 60 and 90 days to pay the bills of the vendors who get county reimbursement to provide services to these children. So it means that a program which wants to expand, how can they expand? They can barely pay their staffs because they have the 60 to 90-day delay in payment. See what I'm saying?
It's also allowing interest to accrue during that period that adds to that bolsters the amount that's there. $200 million.
The issue is we have people who desperately need these services, just like the seniors need services, just like veterans need services. So what I'm talking about here is a thoroughgoing change of consciousness, which is really what we're speaking about. We're speaking about the need to put people first, these needs, these human needs first, which is more acute today when we're going to have massive rollbacks in Medicare, Medicaid, possibly Social Security. We've heard that on the table last week.
Right.
And we need a leader who's prepared to say about each of these issues, you, the people, come first.
Exactly.
We're going to do what we have to do to make these institutions serve you, and we're going to facilitate that by more promptly paying individuals who are providing services for you so they can expand their ability to provide services, not be pinched so that they can't do so, which is what we have now. And I've spoken to providers, and that's exactly what they're telling me. I can't expand. I can't pay my staff on a timely basis. Wrong.
Wow.
So that's the week in review. There's a lot going on.
Wow.
And every day I'm working on these issues, doing the research necessary. I hope in our next conversation we can talk about the IDA, Amazon, some of the other issues which are on the other side of this. Right. What is the county doing with its money? I just told you what it's not doing with its money.
Right.
It's not providing enough for seniors. It's not providing enough for early childhood education. But what is it doing? When we get together again, we'll talk about what it is doing, and I'll show you some data that's startling.
I'll love to see it. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Great to be with you.
David Patrick Wilson here with Michael Sussman, our next county executive.
Thank you, Dave. Good to see you.